The reason why I say I feel like I don't have control over them is because it is almost like it's an experience I have to have, so I can see what the pattern is. If I have a feeling come up and I look at that feeling and go, well, I don't want to have that feeling, so I'm not going to experience it. I'm instead going to make it go away. And most people, when they say, oh, I want to make that go away, they squash it. They squish it and they squash it because they don't want to release it. They don't want to express it. They don't want to allow it to flow through them. They want to squish it and they want to squash it, and they pray and hope that it goes away. It doesn't go away. It comes up again and again and again and again, and it'll keep coming up until you take a step back to look at it and go, what is this? And for me, and this really is my belief at the moment, it doesn't mean it won't change, but it is my belief at the moment, is that for me to release an experience, part of that is to actually have the experience. So I will sit and I will send text messages to this person if I'm upset, or if I'm hurting. I will send text messages to this person and say, this is what I'm feeling, this is what you've done, this is what I'm feeling, and this is what I'm working through. I'll send an email saying, this is how I'm feeling, this is what you've done, this is what I'm working through. I'm not going to ignore the fact that I have these feelings. I'm going to embrace them, and I'm going to allow them. And it was in the 12th insight, and it's in the first 2 chapters, where it talks about conscious conversation. And part of that conscious conversation is staying in alignment with yourself. And I get, for me, that sometimes staying in alignment with myself means that I have emotional reactions to people or emotional reactions to experiences that I'm having, because there's a lesson for me to learn from that experience. And sometimes I get the only way I can learn that lesson is to have that emotional experience, is to have that emotional release. And if I keep squashing it down, or if I keep ignoring it, or if I don't express it because I have stories around feeling guilty, or one of my things was, and I realized it the other day, was I had a fear of making the other person angry. So I had fear of losing them, losing him or losing anyone. I used to hold back, and I wouldn't express how I was really feeling and what I was really thinking, and I did this for most of my relationships. I would hold back because I was so afraid of losing that person, because I didn't have enough self-worth to believe that there was somebody else out there that was better or different or more aligned. I always had this belief that once I got a man, once I got into a relationship, I hold on to him. I hold on to him, and you hold on to him, and you hold on to him, and that's what I don't know where that came from, but that's what I've seen. And so whenever I've been in a relationship, I've held on to it, and I've held on to it, and not only have I held on to it, but I've completely sacrificed myself for that relationship. I've sacrificed my beliefs, I've sacrificed my emotions, I've sacrificed my desires, I've sacrificed my dreams, I've sacrificed every part of me for a relationship, because I've had this unconscious thing, these unconscious little, and I can see the cogs, they're like, yeah. I've had this unconscious thing in my brain that says, when you have a man, hold on to him, because chances are you won't find another one. And it's amazing how that keeps you so limited, so limited. And I've seen that same pattern. And, I'm not in a relationship with this guy. I haven't even met him. He's a random fellow I connected with online, and we're having really great chats and whatnot. But I can see that there's still this pattern that's coming through of, hold on to him, hold on to him, hold on to him, hold on to him. He's a really nice guy. Don't let him go. Don't let him go. Don't let him go. Hold on to him. Don't let him go. And that's what I'm hearing. And so, of course, my energy is going out with this, don't let him go, don't let him go, don't let him go. And so he's feeling me holding on, and he's feeling me grappling at his energy going, come here, come here, come here, come here. And of course he's going, what are you doing? We're we're not in a relationship, we're not in anything. And it's been really, really interesting for me to see all of this unfold. And, you know, I've been having to allow all of this to flow through me. And I'm feeling so appreciative of him because he's been willing to call me on it. You know, it's his willingness to actually call me on these actions, call me on these things that I'm doing, that is helping me see what it is I'm actually doing, and it's helping me see these unconscious sabotages, that are unconscious patterns that I did not even know I had. So, you know, part of, I guess, you know, part of this, and I can feel the energy, it's just so strong in my head, of that grappling energy. And I can see where it came from. I can see the energy that it came from. And, you know, I've been raised mainly in an all-female environment. You know, my grandpa died when I was young, and all the women in my family, with exception to my cousin, have been, you know, mainly single. You know, Christmas for me, for years and years and years, for most of my life, was, you know, women sitting around a table. And you can imagine women sitting around a table, and, you know, most of the women had probably been burnt by men. And, you know, it's having that ingrained in your being. And, you know, I remember my grandma would, you know, constantly ask me, you know, how's your boyfriend? Have you got a boyfriend? Where's your boyfriend? You know, or, you know, other people in the family that have a boyfriend one year and then next year to be a different guy, and then the next year to be a different guy. And, you know, all of this experience, it creates these beliefs. It creates these beliefs that we don't even realize we hold on to. And you think that, you know, you think that a belief is something that you make a conscious decision to have. And all through your life, you've made conscious decisions to have these beliefs, but you haven't. What's happened is that you sit and you watch, and it's mainly when you're a kid, you sit and you watch the world go by, and from what you see, these beliefs are automatically created. Because as a kid, as a young energy, you're not sitting there justifying, you're not sitting there reasoning, you're not sitting there quantifying what it is that's happening around you. We do it as adults because we have that level of logic in our brains to actually do it. But as a child, as a 3, 4, 5-year-old child, we don't do that. We don't have that ability to reason and to go into logic. All we have as a child, and this again, my beliefs, yours might differ, these are my beliefs. What we have as a child is we have this, we're sponges, we have this ability to absorb amazing amounts of information. And so if the environment around us is showing us that, and I'm talking from my perspective and a female perspective, if the environment around us is showing us that men are irresponsible, or men can't be trusted, or men can't be, men can't be relied upon, you know, if you, like me, had a dad who left when he was young and he came over, you know, he was a once-a-week father and then left on the weekend and didn't give my mum any money, and so, you know, I hear these things. These experiences, you know, having my dad arrive and then having him stay for a couple of hours and then having him leave, seeing that visually is creating a feeling in me. And if the feeling that, say, if my dad is leaving, then the feeling in me might be, you know, abandoned or feeling lost, then that feeling is going to create a belief, because I'm going to put the feeling with the experience, and it's going to create a belief that men can't be relied upon, or men always love you and leave you. You know, I can see where that pattern came in. My dad would always say, you know, I'm doing this because I love you. And then he would leave. And so then I would, you know, as a child, I'm a sponge, I'm going to take oh, okay, well, my dad loves me, and then he leaves. My dad loves me, and then he leaves. My dad loves me, and then he leaves. And my dad loves me, and I know he loves me because he says, I'm only doing this because I love you. Oh, okay, well, my dad loves me, and then he leaves. So I now have this belief system set up in my brain that says, well, my dad's a man, and or anything that looks like that must love me and then leave. And I can see this belief pattern because every single relationship I've had has been me being afraid of the man leaving.